At this time, we've heard from a lot of adults back in 1985, but we're going to turn the program over a moment to a person who is an adult now, but was here as a student in 6th grade back in 1985, and he loved Gulfstream so much that he is one of our own still, and he is our PE teacher, Mr. Anthony Lopez.
Good morning. Don't get me emotional, guys. Come on. First of all, I'd like to say that Gulfstream Elementary has been a place of great beginnings for me. Isn't it amazing as time passes? You become older, and yes, you get more grades. You become more distinguished. And you still remember all of your elementary school teachers. You don't remember the middle school or too many of the high school, but for some reason, you remember your elementary school teachers. Because I guess as children, they really impact your lives. I remember Miss Rao, my kindergarten teacher. I remember Miss Bethel, my 1st grade teacher. Miss Stoner, my 2nd grade teacher. Miss Cohen, my 3rd grade teacher. And man, did she drill those multiplication tables in me. Yes, I do still remember them. Thank you, Miss Cohen. Miss McGuire, my 4th grade teacher. And yes, there was no Florida rights back then, but boy, did she make us right. Dr. Keys, my 5th grade teacher. And also, Miss Ross in 6th grade. Yes, boys and girls, back then there was a 6th grade, believe it or not. And it was a bit awkward. Because, especially for us boys, we had this little hair growing on our lip which resembled a mustache, which was kind of like peach fuzz. But, and to add to that awkwardness, we related to this program we loved, which was Miami Vice. And we would wear these linen jackets and pastel-looking shirts, which back then may be cool. Today, not so much. But it was in 6th grade that sweet old Miss Ross, and I say old because she had this frosted white colored hair, and as children, doesn't everybody look old? And I guess that's why students think of me now with my grays on my beard, and they say, well, good old Mr. Lopez. Boys and girls, don't call me old, please. So yes, it was in Miss Ross's class that we put our treasure in that time capsule back in 1985. What an amazing time for us kids. Back then we thought it was so cool, and it was a huge deal. I remember all of us gathering around at the entrance, the school, my PE coach, Mr. Stout, our assistant, yes. He was our only PE coach back then, Mr. Stout, our assistant principals, Mr. Solinsky, and Mrs. Harris, as she was up here a minute ago, and the principal, Mr. Gardner. Fortunately, I did not have the opportunity to meet them in their office, if you know what I mean. And all the students, we were so excited. And I would never imagine myself standing here today, 25 years later, in front of such an audience of students and nostalgic old-timers, and yes, I include myself now in that group. Also, I would never have imagined myself speaking in front of any group, because back then, I was so shy and I really didn't like talking to many people. You could ask my mother, would testify that, Miss Lopez, who used to be our Spanish teacher. And believe it or not, she was a teacher while I was a student here, and she was still a teacher when I came back here. After the time capsule was buried, the contents of it remained almost frozen in time. But the time did not cease for any of us. As a matter of fact, time seemed to fly by. Middle school, then high school, then college. Fortunately, during those times in college, I was thinking about pursuing teaching. I wasn't sure if I would enjoy it. So I came back around, and back then Miss Bowers was here, and she took me under her wing, and she gave me a position working in after-school care. And I thank her for giving me that start. Yes, you can give her a hand. Because it was her loving character and her taking me under her wing that gave me the opportunity to say, you know what? Teaching, this would be the path for me. Upon graduating school, I got my first position in North Miami Elementary. It was quite far for me to travel, and then it happened. I got a phone call from the principal back then at Gulfstream Elementary, and she said, would you like a job? And believe it or not, I was hesitant because I was so happy where I was. But then I said yes. And I was given the opportunity to come back to the place where it all began for me, right here in Gulfstream Elementary. I recall my first day coming into work. I was so nostalgic. I just thought back to all the wonderful childhood memories I had here. And guys, hold on to those memories, because this time is a wonderful time for you. Then it dawned on me. My life had come full circle. I was in the very place where it all began for me. It was and is an honor and a privilege to serve in my current capacity as a teacher here at Gulfstream Elementary. And I love what I do every day. To be able to walk in the same footsteps that my childhood teachers walked, including my mother, whom I had the privilege of working alongside for many years. It is so very humbling to me. Truly, I respect greatly those who have decided to be teachers, because I now know that it's not for the money. They became teachers, and boys and girls, your teachers are here to make a difference in your lives as they did make a difference in my life. So to all my childhood teachers present and past, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because if it wasn't for someone as special as you, I wouldn't be here right now. So I will continue to follow in those footsteps and keep the passion and love for teaching, because it is that love that brought me back to the very place where I began, Gulfstream Elementary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lopez.